I live in a town where you can still hear church bells chime on a Sunday morning, where families gather with pride to watch their children grow like flowers in the sun. We honor the brave who sacrificed for our country and those who continue to serve and protect us. In the spirit of love, belonging, and acceptance, this program was created. I'm Marie Wyman, and welcome to Close to Home. Hello, and welcome to Close to Home. Today we have as our guests Virginia Sims George, Chair of the Northborough 250th Celebration Committee, members Norm Corbin, Amy Graham, and Tom Lowe. Welcome, everyone. It's great to have you here today. Tell us about what the 250th Celebration Committee is doing, Virginia.
Well, thank you, Marie. We really appreciate you having us here. We've been working tirelessly to try to put together a series of events to make this a very meaningful, celebratory, and community organization that we're working together to do things that we can engage everybody from the smallest to the oldest. It's really a community celebration, isn't it? It is a community celebration, and we've been working hard to make sure we tap into the different resources where the committee may not be planning something, another organization may be planning, and we'll be communicating that information to the community as well. And how is the funding coming about right now? I know that we discussed earlier that we have beautiful flags that are going to be shown in town. But tell us a little bit about the funding and how this is happening. Okay, that's a very good question. We're very fortunate because we did receive money from the town. We received $20,000, which was voted on in the meeting in April, which sort of was our seed money. And then we've done things to raise money for the events ourselves. We had a golf tournament, we worked with the Rotary Club, and we did an art auction. I was thinking about that auction. And then we have been doing tier. So we have businesses who are donating money, and we are using $10, $5, $3, and $1,000. And for each tier, there is something that we received. And so we're trying to fund it. We don't want to break the town, and we don't want to be extravagant. We want to be reasonable. So in tiers, you mean that there's a level of contribution? Yes. What you're So the top that we're asking is $10,000. So if someone gives us $10,000, then they get publicized throughout the year and on any events that we're doing. That's a very good marketing tool, I would imagine. It is. And I think some of the businesses were very excited about that and said, count me in. And then we have 5,000, and there's a lesser degree of participation for them, and 3 and 1. And then we actually sent information to town, to the residents, and asked if they were interested in contributing, and you can have a flag for yourself. Isn't that interesting? I know I did receive this 250th. It was really nicely done, and it talked about what was going on, and in a kind of a minimal way. I guess when it went into production, there probably was that problem of not knowing exactly what to put on the card at that point, because it was this came out very early. It did. And another fundraiser is a beautiful quilt, I understand. Oh yes, and we have our chair of the Quilt Parade, Amy Graham, and I'm sure she should share. And tell us about what's happening with the quilt. I hear it's making the rounds.
Yes, the quilt was designed and hand sewn by Terry Crean, who's a Northborough resident. And currently it's being displayed at the library, and as of Monday it will be at the Senior Center for 2 months, and then it will go to Town Hall for 2 more months. Will be displayed the 2 or 3 nights of town meeting. And then we're not sure where it's going to go from there, but it will be at some of our events. I typically call it the traveling quilt because it's going to be taken everywhere. And raffle tickets are being sold or offered at the various places that it's going. And even, you know, committee members could get them to people if they want them. And the drawing for the quilt will be at our last event, which will be the masquerade party, which will be next October.
Oh, that's interesting. And we have a picture here. It's just beautifully designed. The colors are just gorgeous. And they do have a logo in the middle of the quilt, and it just stands out beautifully. She did an extraordinary job.
She really did. I asked her how many hours it took,
Oh,
and I think she
must
said
have been.
about 80 hours, and that's probably,
Anybody that has
Right.
ever done or attempted quilting, which I had done years ago, and it's difficult discipline for sure. You really have to know what you're doing. It's a beautiful quilt, and I wish everybody the best of luck with that.
well, she loves doing it, and it shows.
Yeah, it certainly does. Thank you, Amy. The other thing, Virginia, I was going to ask you is, I understand this is a really kind of a complex assignment of activities. We're not just doing one focus. We're not focusing on just one thing, say the history of Northborough, or we're not focusing on the businesses in Northborough. We're not focusing on you know, an individual thing. It's a wide spectrum,
That
which
is
I was
true.
really impressed when I saw what you guys were doing. It's just amazing. And I know you have a history component too.
Yes.
Yes, myself and there's two other people with me, Dave Carlson and Bob Marchetta, and our role is really to bring history into the different events. So, and along those lines, we've got two programs I can highlight right now. We have a program, it's a tour of Northborough. It's about a 1.5 hour tour of the city. We'll be doing this on May 15th, and it's going to go through the town and highlight all the different sites in the town that has some historic nature to them. We're doing this with an open trolley, and so we hope the weather's nice. And our plan is to do it 3 times for the day, so we can get about 100 people going through the town and looking at the different sites. And a lot of things we drive by every day and you don't see them. And we're going to stop and show people the markers and show people the things that are in town that are there for a good cause. So that's one program. And the other program I've been working closely with the Historical Society on is one for a tour of the cemetery. They've done this program probably 10 years ago where they have famous people in town by their burial sites. And I know, Tom, you were
That was Abraham Wood.
Abraham Wood, that's right.
One of the original choristers for First Parish Church.
You were singing, if I remember,
Yes.
at the site. Yeah, so the intent is not, it's done in the evening because it adds a little bit of color to it. But it's not to spook people out. It's really the people to go by and find out who's buried there and what they did. And it's usually, I think it's about 15 or 20 people that we identify that there's someone at the sites talk about their lives and they're like, it's...
You'd be very surprised, I think, with the number of important people that are buried in our cemetery.
Oh, yeah, we limited to like 20, but there's a lot of famous people in the town.
Right, that's amazing. Just talking about it, it's really exciting because I went by the cemetery one day when I had first moved in over 30 years ago, like 31 years ago, and I noticed that the Wyman family was buried there, the same spelling as my husband's name, which is English, and that was really exciting. And you know, you never know. You might go through the cemetery, and each successive generation doesn't know who's buried there because everyone is dead that has any ties to the local area. So it's really nice. What other programs? I think you're very active in the Historical Society.
Right.
So you have a historical component that's really working well for this.
Yeah, that's when I'm bringing in the resources of the society for the programs that the town is sponsoring and organizing. But the Historical Society is also running their own set of programs. They've always have monthly programs, and for the year 2016, their monthly programs are going to focus on Northborough history.
Oh, that's
and their
excellent.
programs are already out. There's some on one of the interesting ones will be who's buried in the Brigham Street Cemetery. There's
Oh, yes.
a genealogist in town, Beth Finch McCarthy, who's looked into who's buried there. Even though there's only 5 stones, she's already found 40 people that are known to be buried there, and there could be as many as 100. So she's given a program on that. And the high school in January is coming in for a program on history. I don't know what the topic is, but it's a way to get the schools involved. And
That's a real community effort, as you said, drawing in the community and being part of the celebration. Because in New England, we have such a rich heritage ourselves, having actually the Marlborough Plantation, we're an offshoot of the Marlborough Plantation. There is just such a rich tapestry of history involved in New England, and we're just very fortunate that we in our town, like in the beginning of Close to Home, you can still hear the church bells chime on a Sunday morning, which, you know, the Unitarian Church, for instance, has a rich history. Talk a little bit, Tommy, about what's going on in your area of expertise.
We're going to be doing a Family Fun Day in August, and what that will include would be an afternoon, a Sunday afternoon, August 14th, at the 135 field. We have received confirmation that the Sudbury Militia is bringing their full regiment for review, for encampment, and for a real ability to drill in front of us to see what it was like to be a Revolutionary soldier, as well as bringing their drum and bugle corps along with them. And they will be participating throughout the afternoon, as well as we have selected over 20 different games that were being played during the Revolutionary times. Things such as Cats in the Cradle, checkers, dominoes, tiddlywinks for small games, all the way to tug-of-wars, marbles, hopscotch, egg spoon races, potato race, three-legged race, all of the traditional field day activities that you remember as a kid that maybe today they just don't participate in anymore. And we'll let people,
can the adults participate?
Everyone will be able to participate, but we will be having specifically as many of the youth groups partnering with us to assist the kids to know the rules of the game and be able to play them.
And that's a family. That's
family,
drawing in the families,
Exactly.
which is so important today because of our technological society. We're really we're pushing the boundaries of the intimacy. You know, we're not as talkative at the supper table. The thumbs are going. When you go into a restaurant, it's like everybody's plugged in. So this brings the era back.
Exactly.
It gives us that warm fuzzy, I
Exactly.
think, you know. It's
The
wonderful.
end of the day, we hope to have one of the traditional old-time thing. We're going to have a Maypole that we're actually going to.
Oh, for heaven's
We're
sake.
going to actually do a Maypole, and
Wow.
we'll have character people helping us with that. And Amy and I are co-chairing this whole day, and we really are excited about how much fun it's going to be the old-fashioned way.
Exactly, and that's what we need, I think.
Yeah. So one of the things you'll notice is that we have 9 members, and each member has an expertise or has a program that they're responsible for, and they just go off, they work
a
it,
wonderful way
and
of
they come
organizing
back
it.
and they share it with the total team, and we give feedback, ask questions, and approve the budget.
Now,
And
that,
it seems to be
give them a heads up and to give them the accolades and the kudos that
Yes.
everyone really needs. You have the whole list of committee members.
I do. So Tommy is our co-chair and works very closely with me. And then Norm is our clerk or our secretary. Dale Raines, who's not with us tonight, is our treasurer. And then we have, and Amy, of course, is on the committee. Norm mentioned Dave Carson and Bob Frechetta. There's Lana Hams and Kathy McCollum, and then myself. But we also have Bill Pantazis and Don Rand from the Board of Selectmen who are with us and working and supporting us, as well as Andy Dowd and Diane Wackel.
Right.
So that we meet, we were
pretty
meeting
large
twice
committee,
a month.
yeah.
Well, we have 9 members and then like 4 support people. We were meeting twice a month, and then what we decided to do was we meet once a month, but committees are working, and we go around and we visit the committees to see if there are questions, give feedback, and and talk about any issues.
Are they planning to do any, I know in the 200th celebration 50 years ago or more, whatever, people dressed up in period costumes. Are you encouraging people to do that?
What we are trying to get, yes, That's one thing. But the other thing is, and Kathy and I were talking a little bit about it, it is not a period. It is a continuum. It's, you know, from there to here.
Right.
So it's not
From
all about
1766.
76
Right,
to today.
the present day,
And
right.
so what we want to do is we're developing a timeline where we'll have important events periodically, but we are going to have. So let me share with you a couple of things that I do know. We want to have period dress on the tour, on the trolley
Right.
tour.
Oh, okay.
We,
All right.
the kickoff, I should share with you, is January 24th. And on that day, that's when we'll review the charter. Hopefully we'll have proclamations from, as far as the White House, Karen Polito
very
has
nice.
committed to join us,
Very
as
nice.
is Jamie Eldridge, and we have invitations out to others, and we haven't had those confirmed. The highlight probably for a lot of people, and I don't really know him, but I heard that it's a big draw. The cake maker,
Cake Boss.
Cake
Cake
Boss. The Cake
Really?
Boss
Wow.
is making a cake for us.
Oh, how interesting.
And we will be at the Unitarian Church to
Oh,
kick
fun.
off the first part of the celebration, and we're having a reception in the parish hall. And
Very
at that
nice.
time, we're hoping to have period dress
Very nice.
for the people there. And so we have it, you know.
I understand also, I was reading in the community paper, one of the community papers, that there is a cookbook out there that is being made up as well.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, right, currently we're soliciting recipes.
Okay.
And we're asking people to share their favorite recipes, and hopefully we'll get enough participation to make a cookbook, a 250th
Wow.
anniversary cookbook. It can be things from your parents or grandparents, or it could be just something that you're really good at cooking. Not me, but others.
Oh, well, unfortunately, I love to cook and I spend a lot of time in the kitchen, but I end up eating it. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's a problem with being Italian, I guess, you know. But that's a wonderful idea, because I think that brings in other people who wouldn't normally be able to participate. Perhaps a shut-in, or, you know, your grandma, she could
Yeah.
send us the recipe,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
you know, that could go in the book. And other people that maybe, you know, can't participate directly can also be mentioned and have a place in the town's history, which I'm sure this is going to be beautiful.
Well, we're
It just
hoping.
sounds, so how many, over a course of, you're going to start in January, and when are you going to end the
Well,
celebration?
Technically, our committee's last function, Amy mentioned it, will be October 29th.
Okay.
And that we want to have as a masquerade party, is
Oh,
what we're calling it.
okay.
And there again,
Wow.
you can have period dress at that. But first of all, we're trying to get through the gala. So our gala is February 6th at the Doubletree Inn, and we priced the tickets reasonably. We are only charging $50 per person.
And that's really
and
reasonable
it
in
really
today's
is.
market.
We have
Yeah.
a fantastic band called Beantown.
Oh, wow.
And Beantown actually played for Bob Kraft's, one of his Super Bowl parties.
Oh, wow.
They are outstanding, and so we're hoping people will come and celebrate with us
Wow.
in January and February, and then we have almost every month we have some activity going. One of the things I'll also share with you is that we didn't just we had 9 of us and the 4 support people, but we also invited community organizations to come in. And we explained what we were thinking about doing. We asked them to, you know, share with us things that they would like to do to celebrate the 250th. So the activities will start in January and they'll go straight through December.
So it's really a very comprehensive celebration.
We hope
It's going
to
to
have it
touch
so.
upon so many different things.
hope.
You know, I'm so interested actually in the historical aspect of the town of Northborough, because having been on the Historic Commission, you know, that's Norm and I were on together, and that's what we did. You know, we learned a lot about the history of Northborough, and some of the most fascinating things about Route 20. I mean, you know, when people talk about the potholes and they talk about the streets that are so bad, Well, you have to laugh because they were laid out by Indians. They were Indian pathways. I mean, you know, when you travel the country and you go on these huge boulevards out west, you know, I'm thinking of Arizona and Nevada and California. These boulevards are just a regular boulevard is bigger than the Mass Pike, you know. So we in our neck of the woods, when we say we drive on these country roads, we really mean it.
Yeah.
They were actually, bless their hearts, the Indians, especially 135 is a very historic route from Northborough to Westborough and from Westborough to Northborough. So many things have happened, and of course the Brigham Street Cemetery
Right.
is just that's a fascinating thing, and I'm really pleased that history is going to be incorporated into this celebration.
Very much so. Norm has been fantastic. He's been trying to educate me. I'm not from Massachusetts, and and I don't know a lot about the history, but he gave me a paper
book?
deck. No, he gave me pages to say, this is your homework. You need to go read about this so you'll understand.
He's very thorough.
Very thorough.
I have to laugh because I'm sure, you know, just to give our audience some kind of a little background on some of the information that's out there for you. This book, the Images of America, it's Northborough. This is a fabulous book, and it gives us so much. It gives us just so much, the background of Northborough. And there are different books that you can get. This is the To Celebrate Our Town, and this is by Bob Ellis, our historian. And of course, Northborough in the Civil War. That's another book that is highly recommended if people want to read about what's actually in our backyards. I was reading not too long ago. I walk a lot. My husband and I walk, and there's a spot right off of School Street and Summer Street that was a huge orchard at one time around the turn of the century. And there's pictures in these books of what the orchard looked like, and it was like phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And of course, this is one of the books that has been around for many, many, many years. The Town and Its People, Northborough, from 1638 to 1975. You know, there is so much that you can look into. The Bicentennial Commission, 1977, and this was by William Mulligan, I think.
Yep.
Is it by William Mulligan? And I was reading in this book not too long ago. It has some fascinating facts about Northborough. If people want to, obviously, and to look back on all the old buildings and what has happened since then, and of course the landmarks that are still in place, that thank heavens they're still intact, and how you know, the Algonquin Regional High School, built in 1957, that was a long time ago. So, you know, there's 58 years ago, you know, there's just so much out there that people, if they're really interested in the history of Northborough, can look into, go to the local library, talk to the town historian, Bob Ellis, you know, go to a meeting of the Historical Society, get involved, because we have a wonderful town. It's a town that we're all very, very proud of, and we're certainly proud of everyone who has taken the time and all the effort involved into producing this committee and going forward into 2016. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to discuss before we give it a quick close?
Just join us, because it's going to be a great month, a great year.
A great year.
Yeah.
And as we partner with all of the different activities that go on throughout, whether we're sponsoring them as a committee, or whether you are sponsoring them, look at the website, add your activity to our website, and make sure that everyone knows what you're doing as well as what we have been planning for you, because there are many activities. The Northborough Community Chorus is going to do a concert in May, and it will be all patriotic songs. There are Girl Scouts and Boy Scout groups. The Boy Scouts are 100 years old. They're going to do special things. Many of the youth groups and stuff like that will be doing activities that you want to make sure that you look around this year, see what See what Northborough is about. Don't just drive by the sign. Read it and participate.
So you also with the Garden Club.
Yeah, Garden
is
Club
100
is celebrating its 90th
90th,
year
Wow.
this
Wow.
this coming year and the 250th. And we're going to have a tea at the library.
Isn't that marvelous? Everybody is involved.
It,
and
and that's our goal. Is we feel that it's for the community, hopefully by the community, and enjoyed by all.
Thank you.
One just closing note:
Yeah.
the banners. Understand, I have not seen them. Understand the banners went up today.
Yes,
So if you
Be on the lookout.
look out for the banners, and if you want one, it's not too late to give us a call, and we will get banners
And we
available.
encourage everybody to go on the website.
Yes.
And please get involved. If you can do anything at all, just get on the website and read over that really nice little card we got in the mail not too long ago. And it really gives you a number of different places that you can hook up with to help the town. But I think that's it. I want to thank everyone for coming.
Thank you,
Thank you
Maureen.
for
We're
having
looking
us.
forward to all the celebrations that are to come.
Thank you for having us.
You're
we really
welcome.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And we'll see you next time on Close to Home.